try this thing one time, man. I don't normally do this, but try this thing. See what's going on here. Ah, man, this heart's kind of heavy today, man. Heart is kind of heavy today. So I got two people watching here, man. We gonna go with y'all too. So they got two people watching here. I'm going with y'all too. That's what I'm gonna rock with. Cause y'all here, so that's what I'm gonna rock with. I'm not gonna do no hesitation, waiting on nobody else. None of that crazy stuff. I'm rocking with those who rock with me. First off, good morning. How's everybody? Um, had a real weird situation happen, and I was chatting with the big bro, Banky. Y'all know my homeboy Banky Pounds, man. Banky Pounds. Y'all tap in with him, man, if y'all get the opportunity. Um, Banky was talking about, you know, a lot of us don't even recognize or realize that we were actually dead at one time. You know what I mean? For those who are incarcerated, he's saying how we were actually dead at one time. And it kind of threw me off, and I was like, what do you mean dead? You know what I mean? But then I realized what he was saying was like the environment that we were in, the place that we were in for many, many years was like being in a coffin, because only time people really thought about you or reached out or anything like that came from when they basically was when they came to the grave. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not gonna get into no spiritual stuff like that, but they was talking about how like people, the only time they thought about you was like they came to the grave or anything like that. That's what prison was like, man, being in that environment. That's what it was like, because we were gone. You know what I'm saying? We were basically gone from everybody, everything. And unless somebody came to check on you, it was really nothing. You know what I mean? So it put me in the mind. It kind of triggered me for real. It kind of triggered me because I was thinking like, damn, all that time I was gone, the people that really became dear to me were those who were in that same environment with me. You know what I mean? Like those who were in that environment or going through that same suffering, who were in that coffin in that grave with me. Those are the people that are important to me. Cause like for me, I can't say anything negative. Like my father was there for me. He held me down. You know what I'm saying? My mother was always there. My little stepbrother, he was there. You know, and but there were times when I was, you know, I didn't know how to communicate to them my feelings or communicate to them what I was going through, because you know I went in, so I was so young, so I couldn't communicate that I felt alone. I couldn't communicate that I felt left behind or anything like that. Even though I'm not one of those type of people to get mad at the world and say that they did this to me. I put myself in prison. You know what I'm saying? I put myself in a situation where I was gone from society and obviously forgotten. But when I think about it, man, the way he was putting it was basically perfect, because when I look at it, man, it was like, yo, you was in there away from everybody and no one really thought about me unless the conversation came up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, what about this? What about that? And I think what that did, man, I think that scarred me mentally. I really do. I think that scarred me mentally to the point where it was like, you know, I don't trust people. I don't trust people and I hate relying on people, you know? So when it puts me in that mindset of not trusting or not relying on people, you really become cold. You know what I'm saying? You really become cold because no one really tells you how to um, mentally develop more. Because when you're locked up, you're in a position, you're in arrested development, as they call it. You know what I'm saying? Hi, Jules, how you doing? You're in a position where it's like arrested development when you get in those type of environments, you know, and being there for so long, I learned to kind of just rely on myself, you know. So when in relying on myself, like I said, I became cold to a lot of people. And now, having been back in society, it's funny because let's see, this is January 8th. January 8th, because it's be 7 years. 7 years that I've been home from incarceration. And how you doing? How you doing, John? January 8th to be 7 years I've been home from incarceration. I feel like I'm more locked up now in society than I am, or than I ever was when I was incarcerated. And that's a bad thing to say. But the reason I say that is mainly because it's like I'm out here. I do what I'm supposed to do, but I'm out here in an environment where I don't trust anybody. Like, you try and trust somebody, and then they show you something, and it's like, yo, I'm not doing that again. You know what I mean? You try and trust somebody. You try and open up and so on and so forth, and you realize that people use things against you, and it's like, yeah, I'm not doing that ever again. You know what I mean? And it puts a person in a bad, puts you in a bad state of mind. So, uh, I think you just got to push forward and try your best, try to do the best things you can to be, a survivor. You know what I mean? Because in that environment, that's what I did for all those years, man. I was surviving. I wasn't living at all, and I feel like that's what I'm doing. I have a bad habit of trusting everyone too much off the start. The terrible thing to. And I'm glad you said that, because Jules on my TikTok says she has a bad habit of trusting everyone too much off the start. And the thing is, you ever heard they say you're innocent until proven guilty? We know that's a complete lie. The reality of it is, and I'm not a specialist or anything, like no psychologist. I'm just kicking it with y'all, man. The reality of it is, we want to trust people. We want to be open with people. We want to be in a situation where we can say, I trust you. Or I'm willing to walk with you, or whatever, in relationships, business relationships, whatever. We want to do those things so much because that's just how we are as people. That's how we are as humans. But that's just not what we can do. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to kind of push on. You know what I'm saying? Miss Kiki is in the house. Yeah. Okay, we ain't even done with that. If even with strangers, yeah, I understand that. I might need some moderators because it's like people might about to jump in with that foolishness, but I ain't even on that right now. But yeah, even with strangers, I can understand that. My struggle as of lately has been business dealings. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all know I have a podcast. You know what I'm saying? My nonprofit stuff like that, and I have a podcast. But there's a lot of things when it comes to this podcasting world that I can't do. You know what I'm saying? That I'm not. I wasn't made privy to in the environment I was in. You know what I'm saying? Like with a lot of tech stuff and all that. So I have to try and learn these things. And until I learn these things, I find myself relying on other people. Hey, love, how you doing, man? I find myself relying on other people, and it really gets to a point where it's hard because you don't trust people. You know what I'm saying? And this, right there in the chat could tell you definitely. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a trusting person. I try and be respectful and honorable as much as I can, but there's times you just want to snap. You know what I mean? And that's where I think where I'm at right now. And if you look at one of the interviews I had with Chet Fajardo, good dude, man, and he said, I think I need to count it. He said therapy like 9 or 10 times in the hour that we talked. When I interviewed him for my podcast, he said therapy like 9 or 10 times. He had talked about therapy with his fiance, therapy when he came home from prison, therapy with, like, he just kept saying it, therapy, therapy, therapy. And it blew me. And I was like, yo, when I came home, I did therapy like one time because I was having a struggle with my family. But I realized that's not just something I should have gave up on. I should have stuck with that, because even to this day, I know that I ain't got it right. You know what I mean? I don't have it right. Um, I think I'm like the king of facades, man. I really do. I'm the king of facades because I'll smile when I definitely feel like crying, and I'll laugh when I feel like breaking something. You know what I mean? Just to try and keep the peace. But now I've gotten to a situation where I just don't want to deal with people. You know what I mean? I just don't want to deal with people, and I'm getting, a lot of limitations for the people that people say, "Oh, you're doing so good with the podcast and this and that." But the podcast is only for me to be bringing attention to my nonprofit, and my nonprofit is for me to get that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of giving back, because I've left so many people behind. You know what I mean? You're talking about companions, brothers. You know what I'm saying? Sisters too, that I've left in those prisons. And I was at the point for one time, that's all that really mattered. You know what I'm saying? Being able to help someone like that. But let me double back before I get off track. You just get to the point, like Jules was saying, you just trust people too much, and you want to because that's how we are. We naturally want to trust. We naturally want to love, and so on and so forth, because that's how I feel. The Most High has created us. But when you get to the point where no one else matters, you know what I'm saying? When you get to the point where you just don't want to be around people, that's a bad thing. That's a bad place. That's a bad place for real. And you know, like I said, Banky was talking about that today about checking on your people, and he always says supporting is important, but he was about checking on your people and mental health and so on and so forth. That's a big thing, man. That's a big thing, man, because um, for me individually, I just thought about it last night and this morning, and I came to the conclusion I still don't got it right. I still don't. You know, what is it? I see you over there. Yeah. How you doing, big bro? How you doing? Yeah. And it's just one of those things, man. You got to just keep pushing. You got to keep pushing on. And I've for many many years I lived in an environment where you know um, you couldn't associate with certain people, you couldn't deal with certain people, but everyone you dealt with took responsibility for what they did. The environment we're in now, man, is people live like there's no repercussions for their actions. You know what I mean? A man will lie to you, steal from you, take from you, and do all types of manners of things, and just be like, the hell with it. You know what I mean? I did it, so what? The environment I was in, the environment I was basically nurtured in. I have to say that. I always talk about that nature nurture. The environment I was nurtured in, you can't do things like that because there are repercussions for your actions. I just had a business deal. Someone crossed me, right? And I shouldn't have taken it the way I took it because I should have looked at it like it was just business. You know what I mean? But I allowed myself to be in a situation where this person could cause me financial harm. You know what I mean? And when they did it, I felt like I was caught off guard. So having been caught off guard, I was like, that's not how it really went. You know what I'm saying? That was on me. That's my way of saying, okay, I'm not going to do anything or do anything to this person or anything like that. And it's unfortunate how I come up. That's how I think. It shouldn't be, but again, how I was nurtured, violence is an option. But no, I'm not out here saying that I'm just going to jump on somebody. But I'm just saying, in the environment that I come up in, when people do certain things, there are repercussions for your actions. So therefore, you don't act a certain way. So I go back to this business deal. The person crossed me, and being that they are across the entire United States, right? It's like to them, it's no big deal. But I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Anybody that knows me, that really knows me, like I can be the king of petty. Like I will like, I'm like 50 Cent, like 50 Cent is in the rap world, man. I will not let certain things go until I feel like uh, 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 justice has been served. You know what I mean? So in having done that or having been in those situations, it's really crazy. But I just you have to live and learn, man. You have to live and learn, not to be so trusting, not to be so open with how you are as a person, and you end up being guarded. You know what I mean? You end up being guarded, and when that happens, it's really bad. You know what I mean? It's really bad when you live like such a guarded person, and I understand it. I understand it. It's because my lack of I'm not gonna say lack of I'm not gonna say lack of integrity or anything like that, but my lack of understanding of how things go out here. You just get to the point where you just don't trust people. You don't trust people. You don't want to be around people. A person. I don't like living when someone can say hello to you or hi to you, and I'm trying to think like, nigga, what's your angle? Like, why are you speaking to me? You know what I mean? The places that I come up, like again, when someone speaks or someone shows kindness or something that the average person will look at as being respect, you're always like, what's their angle? What are they trying to get at? You know what I mean? And that's not a good way to live. That's not a good way to live at all. Um, so yeah, that's basically what it is, man. That's where I'm at right now. That's the thought of the day, man. Like Banky was saying earlier today, check on your people, man. Because sometimes you just want to be around people who care for you, people who love you. But then if you don't know how to take that care and that love, man, what do you do? If you don't know how to take that kindness, what do you do? You know what I mean? I know I'm definitely in a state of arrested development still to this day, and I've been home 7 years. I know for a fact that I'm still stuck in certain thoughts. You know, um, that's just what it is. But change the topic, man. Change the topic. Second Lap, man. This the Second Lap. That's my nonprofit organization where we battle recidivism, man. We try our best to put people, men and women coming home from prisons who suffered incarceration, who put themselves in situations to suffer incarceration. We try to put them in the best position to be successful. Jobs, all types of resources we may have. You know what I'm saying? And we've added, thanks to my big bruh, we've added um, sobriety is a big part of this too. You know what I mean? People dealing with addictions and so on and so forth. We're encouraging sobriety. We've teamed up with Sober H2O. Um, and I like what I'm seeing because I'm watching this man develop his dream. You know what I'm saying? His way of giving back. I'm watching him develop this, and it's awesome. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, we just teamed up with Sober H2O, and we've added my homeboy, my big bro Earl Morgan. We've added him and his team in Virginia area. Um, restoration of gun rights. Earl Morgan is spearheading that program for the Second Lap. So uh, that's a big thing. In fact, we have our I think our second or third case going to court today. What's it? 9 o'clock. He's in court now. He's in court now. This is our second or our third case. I'm sorry about the numbers of going back to get his gun rights after incarceration, and yeah, so that's another thing we've added. Also, we have Michaela Ellis, my superstar. She is she's spearheading along with Rosie Gonzalez, and Mystique. Big up, big shout out to Mystique. They're spearheading our women who have suffered domestic DV survivors. Let me put it like that. Women who suffered DV, survivors of that. They're spearheading that program. It's called Echoes of Survivors. Y'all check that out. That's actually, we have the TikTok up. We don't have any things on it just yet, but that's Echoes of Survivors. Y'all check that out. But yeah, man, I just want to pop in, man, just for a little bit, say what's up. Um, you know, put a few thoughts out there, man. And if y'all got any questions, anything like that, man, get at me, man. Feel free to get at me. You know what I'm saying? Hit me in the chat, hit me in the DM or something like that. Don't come with nothing crazy. Please don't. You know what I'm saying? I get like little, oh, there's that. Yeah, I don't come with anything crazy. No, I'm not looking for a relationship. No, I'm not trying. I'm good in all those areas. Um, but yeah, it's just, sometimes I get like crazy DMs and stuff like that. We just, I'm not. That's not something y'all should even be trying to do, man. I'm good at home. Believe me, I promise you, I'm very good at home, very well taken care of. But I say all that to say, like, again, man. I'm gonna start getting on here a little more, man, because it can be therapeutic, but like Chet was saying, like I'm really gonna seek out therapy because I think the I think the idea or that which I'm pushing out is not reaching the correct audience. Not saying y'all aren't the right audience, but the intention of everything that I'm doing right now is to bring attention to, you know, the Second Lap, man. Which everything is to bring attention to my nonprofit, because just sitting here just thinking, man, I've left some very strong, influential people behind me. You know what I mean? That I left them behind in those prisons, behind those prison walls, and you know, they've been heavy on my heart lately, and I feel like I really got to push harder. So if you people do tune in to go to my YouTube page, where I have a lot of the interviews. You see, there's clips of the interviews on my TikTok, on my YouTube, my Instagram. Those are just interviews that I've done with people who have come home from prison, who've established a means of success. The only one who hadn't been incarcerated was a good friend of mine, Greg, the founder of Sober H2O. And big shout out to my main man, John Wiki, man. John Wiki, he's from the gamer community. We've just garnered support from him. He's pushing the narrative forwards as well, man, when it comes to sobriety and so on and so forth. And he shared something during his gaming live. He shared something the other day, man. He was talking about he got a package because we sent Greg gave me the permission to send him some of the waters, Sober H2O, and during his live, man, he took the time just to say, hey, look, he held up the bottle and everything, and he was like, look, man, I support this. This is something a good friend of mine, and he went into detail about his own sobriety. How he walked away from alcoholism and so on and so forth, and it was major, man. I really appreciated that. He didn't have to do that. This is a guy I met on social media, and he just jumped at it and did it. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's one of those things, man. Like I just wanted to reach out and say I appreciate the support. Um, let's keep going forward with this. But again, if you're on any of my socials, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, even Twitch, when I'm gaming myself, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff is to garner support and the attention to my nonprofit, which is the Second Lap. And the reason I say that is because that's where my passion is at. You know what I'm saying? That's where my passion, that's where my heart is at, because there are a lot of people, men and women, that are behind those bars right now that don't feel like people love them, that don't feel like they don't care, that people care. And when you have someone like that, let me explain this to you. Please take this to heart. When you have someone who feels like no one cares, when you have someone who feels like no one is in their corner, no one has their back, you're only going to get destruction. And I said that in one of the little like 20, 30-second skits I made, right? You have men and women who are incarcerated, right? It could have been a small crime, something little, you know what I'm saying? But when they go into those prisons, it's not a positive environment. So don't think that for 1 second the prison is a positive environment. It isn't. And no one should ever give any prison facility, state or federal, they should never give any of those environments any type of credit for their success or their overcoming anything. You don't give the devil credit for you don't give the devil credit for any of these successes that you have. You know what I'm saying? Unless you made a deal with the devil. But I say all that to say that when you're in those environments where you say, big bro, he said, thank you for the insight. Most definitely. You know how it is, man. But you never give that type of credit to those individuals. But I was saying that to say you have people who are behind those walls, men and women, who are going to return to society unless they have a life sentence, right? And when they return to society, if they don't have the proper resources, if they don't have the proper support, if they don't have the proper guidance, they are going to reoffend. I'm telling you straight up, they are going to reoffend. And when I say they're going to reoffend, it could have been something minor when they went in the first time. But when you come out and you hungry and you're trying to provide and you're trying to get reacclimated in society that really turned their back on you, what are you going to do? You're going to resort to what you did before, if not something worse. So that's what Second Lap is about, man. That's what our nonprofit is about, is trying to put resources and so on and so forth behind those people. So when they come to society, when they get back into society, they have an opportunity, they have a leg up and a means to be successful. Because if you're not successful coming out, you're going to do more damage. You're going to hurt somebody. You're going to hurt society again. You're going to hurt yourself, And again, like I said, that's what Second Lap is about. That's what we're trying to do. That's the position we're trying to be in. I'm sorry, if I was ranting a little bit about my own mental health and stuff like that in the very beginning, but that's just where I'm at right now. But again, check on your people. You got to check on your people, make sure people are in a good headspace, because if not, man, once someone steps out there and they cross those lines, what's going on, sis? When they cross those lines, hey, sis, when they cross those lines, man, it's hard to get them back. It's hard to get them back, and I put myself out there first and foremost, and I'm like right now, I'm definitely in need of help. You know what I'm saying? Prayer and all that type of stuff is good, but when it comes to those type of things, you got to actually dig deep and try and find the help that you need. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, Second Lap, the nonprofit, you know what I'm saying, was a 501c3 operating out of Texas, Nevada, and Virginia. And what we do is we battle recidivism, man. We try and give back and put people in the best position to be successful when they leave those prisons. I'll probably do this like every day, man, for like 30 minutes to an hour, just pop in. Like I said, if any questions, anything like that, if anybody have any questions or suggestions or anything like that, they want to go on the support of any type of way, feel free to drop me a DM, drop me a message, anything like that. Like I said, hold anything else. So I'm not trying to say I'm like that, anything like that, but hold anything else. I'm not paying attention to any type of invites, any crazy stuff. It's not that type of party. One, I'm not the type of person you want to deal with like that on that level anyway. I'm a 2-time failed husband. I have no children. I don't like kids. And I'm very happy at home. My family, I'm very happy and very pleased at home. So yeah, don't even come at it like that. But like I said, drop me a DM or message, anything like that. Anyone want to, get more information on it. I think we have all the socials up there, and basically that's all I got to say, man. I'm gonna leave the door open for any questions. Anybody got any questions? You know, because I'm on YouTube and TikTok. So if anyone has any questions, you can put them in the chat right now. I gotta lean over to see it. Yeah, Big Greg. That's my bro right there. But you got any questions, comments, anything like that, suggestions? You know. Again, man, shout out to my big brother Abdul Latif, man. He's in court right now. He's in. It says 9 o'clock, right? He's in court right now in Richmond, going to get his rights restored, his gun rights restored, um, under the second lap banner, man. We put him in a good position to be successful, and we're praying that everything on our way to work. Say hey and support. Hey, appreciate you, big sis. Hey, y'all go follow my big sis, man, Rosie. uh, She said, "Love you, love what you're doing. You're a part of it too, sis." Echoes of Survivors, man. Make sure y'all go to that TikTok page, Echoes of Survivors, EOS, Echoes of Survivors. We're about to start posting a lot more stuff on that page and having meetings and everything. That's about to become a nonprofit that we're doing to support DV survivors. I'd say DV survivors. But yeah, that's gonna pop up on there soon. Y'all go check that out. Follow that page. We haven't put any posts up just yet, but that's a great work in progress. And my sis Rosie, she's a part of that program and that project, I should say. But yeah, I'm probably gonna pop in on here daily, man. I'll probably pop in on here daily just to check in, see how's everybody going, how's everybody doing. There was a young lady. I forgot about this the other day. There was a young lady in a live who was. It's funny. She was actually. I heard it. I don't know how everyone else didn't hear it. But we're gonna send one of our counselors to talk to her. But she was in her live and she was joking and everything. But as she was joking, I kept hearing what I heard was a cry for help. You know what I'm saying? She was like, "Look, I'm not in a good place." And I was hearing a cry for help, right? And Rosie, if you can hit me up later, Rosie, I'm gonna have to talk to you about that. I'm gonna send you her name. I want you to get at that. She's probably gonna need some help. What's up, Jess? But this woman was actually crying for help and support, but the people in the chat were responding to other things, right? And that's why I was saying, like, you really have to check on people, man, because a lot of us are out here on our own struggling, like really, really struggling. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it'd be 7 years for me in January. I struggled for years, and I still struggle. Like, I'm not a trusting person. It's funny, Jess just jumped in the chat. This time, not this time last year, probably about, it wasn't too long ago. I remember pulling over on the side of the road and just having a panic attack, man. You know what I'm saying? I was going through something, you know, I'm not gonna delve into that, but I was going through something and I freaking had a panic attack. And I called my pop, you know what I'm saying? I called my father, who's always been there. That's my black superhero. Love you, Pop. Um, and I was just, it was something, it was like a sensory overload, man. And I'd never had anything like that. And I just found myself over on the side of the road in North Carolina on the phone with my dad and you know, my good friend Jess. And I was just going through it. And he was talking me through it. And then I had the same situation. I called Alina. I called her, and I was like, damn, I'm going through it. And, you know, I had her, my father on the phone. I was just like, I felt like my head was going to explode. You know what I'm saying? And I've never been through anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And normally it's crazy because normally in a situation like that, if I were still incarcerated, I would go work out. I would do something to get my mind off of what had me so stressed out. You know what I'm saying? That's what I normally would do. But at that moment, it's crazy. And I say all that to say, I just heard this. I was watching this young lady. She was basically calling out for help. You know what I'm saying? She was crying out for help, and everyone was just like joking in the chat. But I heard something else. I just had to disconnect. You know what I'm saying? I had to disconnect. I did write her name down, Rosie. If you're still in here, I'm probably going to send you at her to probably talk to her, invite her about the DV survivors group we have. And you or Makara, get one of y'all to tap in and see about her. Good people who care about you had your back. Yeah, most definitely, most definitely, most definitely. Um, yeah, it's one of those things, man. Like, you know, you just gotta. co-host now. I'm just like, keep getting these invites, man. I'm not setting anybody in the chat out on this. This ain't a panel, bro. It's not a panel. No disrespect to you, but it's not a panel. But yeah, man. Like I said, man, y'all tap in. It's one of those things you really gotta put yourself in a good situation to be strong because a lot of people don't care about you out here. A lot of people don't, you know. And all this comes from me being triggered over a bad business deal. You know, like I said, I didn't even trust the person with a bad business deal. He couldn't even honor that. You know, I found myself eating pancakes alone just because I didn't want to be around anybody. But my mindset was, hey, if I had the outreach to get to this person, good morning, good morning. If I had the outreach to get to this person, I probably would have done something negative. So it's probably good that I am across, you know, on the different coast. You know what I mean? Because that's just how it is, man. Some of us still need help. Some of us still need a kind word. Some of us need a pat on the back. You know what I'm saying? You have no idea how far a pat on the back could go, man. And I know I'm just ranting right now, but a lot of y'all don't know how far a pat on the back can go. I'm telling you, like when I was incarcerated, and I mentioned this to Banky, when I was incarcerated, check this out. It's a quick story, and I'll close with this. I had something that happened one time, and I had said to myself, and I'd been gone for years, but at this time I'd been gone for many years. But something had happened, and I said to myself, this person's got to pay. Like I could not allow this person to continue to go on with a smile on their face for what they'd done to me and someone else, right? And it wasn't an SO situation, an SA situation, nothing like that. But um, in my mind, I said, this person has to pay for this. And I remember I said, okay, I'm gonna go in when they finish mail call. This is what I said to myself. I'm gonna go in when they finish mail call. Mail calls when they pass out the mail for the institution, right? When they finish mail call, I'm gonna go to this person's cell and I'm gonna do them dirty. I remember saying that. I'm gonna do them dirty. And mail call wasn't a thing for me. I didn't get a lot of mail. You know, at the time I was dating it's crazy to say this. I was dating a teacher, one of the GED teachers. I was dating the GED teacher that came from society, and when she would come in, you know, we had our relations, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, I said that to say this, but um, I hadn't paid a lot of attention to society. You know, I was locked in. I wasn't getting a lot of visits, so on and so forth. I know my father was there for me, my mother was there for me, but I was kind of locked in. And I had this woman that I was dating illegally. I had this woman that I was dating that worked in the institution. But anyway, I didn't get a lot of mail. You know what I'm saying? Love you too. I didn't get a lot of mail, but I got a letter that day. Remember, I just said to myself, when they do mail call, I gotta have this person. So I got a letter that day, and I think it was like from an old friend. It was like, "Hey, how you doing? You crossed my mind." And that's all it really said. And you have no idea the impact that letter had on me. I sat back down. I can even tell you the song I was listening to. I started listening to Anthony Hamilton. I sat down, started listening to Anthony Hamilton, and I gave a person a pass. I gave him a pass. I wanted to go do him dirty. And when I mean do him dirty, you know, read between the lines, y'all. Read between the lines. I wanted to go do him dirty, but I got a letter. I sat down. I said, you know what? I'm going to just let that go. And I did. And in letting it go, it just put me in the mindset of like, am I soft? Am I weak? I was like, nah, it didn't matter. So that's why I said you got to check in on your people, man. Be it a text, a phone call, stop by, whatever, something like that, and just check on your people because a lot of people are not in the best place mentally, man. Look at what goes on in society. How can we be in the best place where everyone is trying to get over? Everyone is trying to get over in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny to me because, and I'll say this, and this means no disrespect to anyone. Like, I don't like going live or anything like that because I think everything I'm doing is being watched. And I don't even like that type of feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking in the comments and I see people say, but the reality of it is some of y'all are in the comments just because you're watching who else is in my comments. That's stupid. Some of y'all are like, when it comes to like the live events and so on and so forth on YouTube, like I'm addressing YouTube. Like I had someone say something on comment on one of my, one of the podcasts, they said something and then someone else jumped in and said something about what they said. I was like, why are y'all going at it back and forth about something that I said in a podcast or someone is like monitoring the comments and stuff like that. Get your corny ass the fuck on. Like, go on about your business. If someone wants to give a comment or somebody wants to say something in support of what I'm trying to do, then let them do that. Because in the long run, it's all about this. That's what I say. In the long run, it's all about this. It's all about Second Lap. It's all about my nonprofit. It's all about me trying to give back and be in a situation where I feel fulfilled. You know what I mean? Because I left a lot of good people behind. You know what I mean? And in a situation like that, you know, she said about to fly. Just wanted to say hi. Safe travels, man. Safe travel. Take you a shot so you don't. You know what I mean? I hate flying. I get terrified when I fly. But I say all that to say it's like one of those situations where, man, just if you're not a part of the program, if you're not a part of the process, if you're not in on the, or if you're not committed to what's going on or what I got going on, get the fuck on, man. Like, for real. And I say that with all sincerity, man. Like, if you're not part of it, if you're not trying to be a part of it and support of it, man, get the hell on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had an ex who just watched every single thing I did for like years. She watched everything I did for years. For what? You're not trying to be a part of it. Our chapter opened and closed. Why are you still trying to be a part of something? Or why are you monitoring or policing what I'm doing? X's are X's for a reason. Get the fuck on about your business. You know what I mean? That's what, and I'm at the point now, like, I'm not doing no more blocking. I'm not doing no more catering to nobody else. I got a purpose. I see this is my purpose. This is what I'm trying to do. This is my aim, and I'm gonna stick to it, man. And if you're not a part of it, man, yo, go that way. Like, for real, that's where I'm at. For real, go that way. I don't even care for real right now because I'm realizing other people don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm realizing other people don't care. I have a whole crew of people that's part of Second Lap. I have a whole crew of people, and I'm gonna start vetting that as well. Some of those gotta go because half of them are not even trying to be a part of the movement unless the movement is bringing something to them. You know what I mean? I'm not saying anything negative about my crew. I have an amazing crew, but I'm just saying some of them got to go because if you're not really about this struggle, if you're not really about this movement, go that way, man. You got to cut ties, man. I got to purge this. I got to purge my environment. I got to purge my company. I got to purge my relationships, my business dealings, and everything. I got to purge all that, man, because I got a purpose, man. I'm up in the age, you know what I'm saying, and really where I'm at right now. If you're not with it, get the hell on, you know. And right now I'm just ranting. So yeah, I'm gonna end it. I'll probably do this more often. You know, like I said, if y'all have any comments or anything y'all want to say to me, or any questions or any way you want to try and support, link in the bio, man. Link in the bio, for real. Link in the bio. All right, signing off, man.